GM, how's everyone? Sorry for the delay. I was wrapping up a call, but I see very good as gave everything set up here, so appreciate you guys. Everyone, GM. Great music, Durgadas. Thank you for that. Some funk. And yeah, I see a bunch of our Epoch 9 participants here. Great to have you. So the way these town halls go are normally just updating everyone on what's been happening in Octant world, and then just opening the floor for anybody who wants to talk a little bit about it. This is a great opportunity for you guys who are farming votes from GLM holders to kind of tell us about your project. So I would highly encourage you to do that. And yeah, hopefully convince more people to get some votes going your way. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, we just announced the 30 creators that will be participating in Epoch 9. We're super excited. It was a very, very thorough process. You've probably seen the live streams where we explained everything, but there were like, I don't know, between 700 and 800 hours in total that went into the review process. We had 7 or 8 reviewers, I think. And yeah, it's what AirPods dying? What is happening? Is it the music or what? Or is it, or is my microphone wrong?
We can hear you, but I think we also can hear the music.
Oh yeah, right. Let me put the volume down for the music if that's distracting. Thank you. Okay, maybe that's better. I've lowered the volume now. But yeah, so let me find the post with the 30 projects. Here you go. I would highly recommend everyone to follow these amazing creators. Some of them are here also, so if you have questions for them, you'll be able to ask them. But yeah, we're super excited about this. Last week, we did not have a Dragon's Den and Town Hall because the entire Octant team was in a retreat. It was super fun. Got to meet most of these people in person. Gabe, for example, had not met anybody in person yet from the team, so that was pretty cool. I had met only maybe half in person, so it was good to hang out with the whole team. That's super nice. Yeah, what else? We are planning a DeFi hackathon also in a few weeks. If you know any DeFi hackers or any interesting speakers or people who could give a workshop, please send them our way. Would love to feature them in the hackathon. It's going to be basically for strategies, to build strategies, generating strategies that we can implement in our vaults. So yeah, looking forward to that. What else? Oh yeah, there's also, if you have friends who applied and didn't get accepted, or if you didn't get accepted yourself to the round, we have a few opportunities. One of them is these Rhizome micro grants. It's super easy to apply, just basically a paragraph with your plans with the theme on the open internet, so quite broad. And you can potentially get a smaller grant from there and continue your amazing work. We've received like truly amazing applications, and it was tough to decide on 30 only, but we want to give everyone more opportunities because there are some gems even in the rejected applications as well. So yeah, that's there. What else? Am I missing anything? Durgadas or Gabe, help me out. Just write it in the chat if I'm forgetting about anything. Yeah, Gabe's voice is absolutely wrecked. He just dropped, but I think he really didn't want you all to hear his voice. But cool. I think that's pretty much it in terms of updates. So now I want to open the floor to the creators who are part of this round, or to anybody who wants to share about your projects or want to ask any questions about Epoch 9 or about Octant V2, you know how it goes. So yeah, feel free to unmute yourselves or put it in the chat here. I'm happy to answer and give you the floor to chill, because this is going to be recorded and will be uploaded on YouTube. So again, we know our GLM holders and voters will be checking this out to see who's active and whose projects resonates with them. So this is a good opportunity. So yeah, the floor is yours.
I'm happy to go first. I actually have another meeting coming up, so I might have no choice but to go first because I'm gonna have to jump. But yeah, thank you for hosting us, Nico, Gabe. I could only imagine how tired you all are, not just this week, but maybe even this month. Yeah, to give some context on me, and I guess first and foremost, thank you all for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Very grateful to be here, and it's great to see. I think so many people genuinely do create for all of the right reasons and with so much love. But it's amazing that Octant gives an opportunity for creators to continue to tell stories with the right incentive structures. And I think that's all that this really comes down to, right? Octant's whole entire goal is like, how do we ensure that public goods aren't just doing good, but are also doing well? And to be recognized as somebody that is doing good but can also do well at the same time is incredible and something that I'm very grateful for. So yeah, thank you again, Octant. I guess just a little bit of my story and somewhat of my background. I promise I won't speak for too long, but I spent the last 7 years working in this space. I originally joined actually Chainalysis in the very early days, if anybody here knows who they are. And my job was actually to hire their technical recruitment teams. So I hired a lot of their engineers, research development over Europe, North America, Asia, Africa. And 7 years ago, I don't think a lot of people even knew that you could work in this industry. And I spent a few years there and really brought in some of the incredible people that we still have now. And I guess saw a lot of those stories really blossom, and then ended up joining Luxo doing the same, and over time moved more into this experimental role where I was trying to enhance the speed that we co-create, to enhance the speed that we experiment, and really spent the last 2.5, 3 years very close to the core Ethereum community in Berlin, and really trying to coordinate us so we can actually, ensure that we're aligned as we do co-create and build. And I think a lot of people in this industry kind of forget that this is just simply an experiment. And like it's been an incredible experiment and a very important one. But we still do have quite some way to go. Although we have also done a lot. And a big part to why I started telling stories just earlier this year was I don't think that a lot of people were really giving us that recognition that we have come so far. Like 10 years into the experiment, we have genuinely found subsectors within Ethereum that work. Like I think the low risk DeFi post that Vitalik recently made is a perfect example that it just took time. Like it simply took time to get to a point where we could have values and have incentives. And I think there's been many people building because of like the early cypherpunk movement, and then also many who have built because they genuinely need these primitives. Like I've spoken to so many people in Argentina in the lead up to DevConnect, and it's a necessity, right? And I just got to a point where I was just so frustrated that nobody was telling the fucking story. And like it really got to a point where I kind of gave myself no option earlier this year to become the best, not just cinematographer, but the best coordinator of storytelling possible. Because the better we can tell stories, the faster we can coordinate. And I think the issue that Ethereum has had is this is an experiment. We're not completely sure what's going to happen to the world computer, to these new systems that we create over the next decade. But what we do have is a decade behind us. And I think a really big reason to why Ethereum has kind of always been not necessarily laughed at, but I think the Ethereum community has felt sometimes unseen. And a big reason to why that is we don't really know where we're going to be, right? And I think this is the difference with other narrative-driven teams who do a really good job of storytelling is they know exactly why they're telling the story, right? They're telling the story because they want, I don't know, maybe to drive a narrative of being faster, quicker, and cheaper, right? The Ethereum story is not just that. This is a chance to disrupt and replace every system that you could physically fathom. and maybe even create ones that we haven't even met before. So yeah, earlier this year, I started this journey and wanted to really intertwine cinematography, storytelling with attention and retention. And I kind of spent many months finding this balance. I think I was mostly known for some of the work that I've done with the Ethereum Foundation, with people like Sophon, Near, Wallet Connect. I also done some really great campaigns with Cello, where I told a lot of their stories. And people started to see that this level of production, this level of storytelling is very much needed. And I think the reason why maybe I came second isn't just because like I've had all of this experience, it's because I value the story always being the most important part of what we're trying to tell. And like as I said, we don't know where we're going to be in 10 years, but what we do now have is 10 years of stories behind us. And like if we can just do a job representing ourselves and I think unanimously deciding within these 30 people, like we are the media, this is our job, and we can't expect decentralized technology to build a narrative itself. And that is the whole stance that I have here, is that we should not just be battling the algorithms on TikTok. We need to be battling the state. We need to be battling legacy media, because if they're not going to tell our story, it is our job to tell this story instead. The application that I've applied for is to create the Ethereum Creator Club, which I think in very simple layman terms is the ETH Global for stories, the Scaffold ETH for creators. And if anyone here knows WAP, which is a very cool incentive structure for clipping, for content creating, I want to create the WAP, not just for Ethereum, but also for tech. Because this is not just Ethereum story at the end of the day, it's human story. Yeah, so like the Ethereum Creator Club will hopefully begin a flywheel effect where I can receive a grant from Octant, dependent on the votes I get from delegates and GLM stakers, and I can then allow this to continue. And I can create these quadratic mechanisms myself where we can not just continue the funding, but also continue the storytelling. Because if we don't tell every story, then it's also, it's only a job half done. There's a lot of stories that we don't have access to, that we don't even know exist, that are maybe told in different languages in different nation states that we aren't even aware of. I've met people building new cities, building new societies that I would have never met if I wasn't in a certain place at a certain time. And I don't know, I'm sure that Ivy or Alicia on here probably heard stories that I have no idea about too. So I think what I'm championing here is there is many levels to this, and there's many ways that I think that we should create, but this is not just about algorithms, it's about enablement. And like if we can enable with the right value systems and the right incentive structures, the ideology of us telling the right story becomes absolutely inevitable. And I just want to ensure that no creator goes through what I've been through. It has been so fucking hard. And like a lot of creators don't have the blessing to create for love and to forget about money. A lot of us have to stay alive, and it's really fucking challenging to justify distribution and art. And I want to make sure that no creator has to go through what I've been through. If anyone here hasn't looked at my Twitter, it's the same as my Discord handle. I made a small tweet yesterday of one of my lowest moments whilst creating and building the studio over the last 6 months. And yeah, my goal is to make sure that this story continues and doesn't stop being told. And we have the right incentive structures, the right coordination, and the right value systems within this club to go and continue this story.
Preach. Amazing, Louis. Thank you so much for sharing. This is a very inspiring story and a very noble cause that you have to give a platform to everyone who I believe also there's a big need to expand this beyond what we're doing here. So that's amazing. Looking forward to seeing more content of you, man. I love the videos you produce.
Thanks, man. I'm very grateful. 100 years old. Yeah, man. I've been in the trenches. That's for sure. For way too long. But like, I think this is actually kind of crazy. Like, if you zoom out, just like this is my last note here. If you look at the creative economy, if you look at people who actually create, distribute, and tell stories outside of this space, it is absolutely bizarre how many companies in our industry would value the shit out of this level of distribution and storytelling. We don't just have a chance here to fund our industry. We actually have a chance to give funding and incentive structures to the whole creative economy. Crypto, Web3, and Ethereum is one of the only ecosystems on Earth that needs storytelling and has the resources to ensure that it happens. this is not just about ensuring that Ethereum's community tells better stories. This is actually a chance to onboard a whole entire economy that we haven't seen before. The issue that we have is jargon. A lot of people in this space preach this message, say that they're here for the creative economy, but they haven't been in the trenches, they haven't told the story, and they haven't distributed. So I think that it's all well and good speaking a good game, but I've done it, I know what it takes, and I think that we have a chance here to disrupt the whole creative economy, not just our industry. So that's my message.
Amazing, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And yeah, well, for those who are interested, feel free to link maybe some of your videos or your profile in the chat so people can check you out and mark you to vote when the allocation window starts. But really appreciate them. And yeah, if anyone else wants to join the stage and share, the floor is yours.
I'll go next because I also have to go soon for my classes, evening classes. Hi everyone,
Cool.
my name's Pachara. Hi, thank you so much for hosting this. Yeah, I know it's been a few days, but I still haven't really digested that we are the top 30. So I'm really grateful to be here amongst others, and watching all the videos on how difficult it was, it just made me realize wow, okay. So I really, really got to step up my game. But I'll just go a quick introduction quickly about myself. I basically have been a full-time content creator since 2018. I've been working on Instagram before I got into Web3, and I actually started out in fashion. So I worked with a lot of brands with Bondage, ASOS, and somehow during my whole journey, I discovered Web3 in 2021. And I was working as a CMO for a startup, and it was basically in the gaming industry in Web3. So it's a very small niche, and I basically never left gaming, and I've been here since. So if you've seen my work before, a lot of people know me as the quote unquote gaming content creator. So I do a lot of content. I work here a lot with Ubisoft as well, since they're based in France. But I've worked with L2s and L3s as well. And I'm just here, honestly, to be wholesome, make good content, tell a story, and just do educational videos with less jargon. Because the problem is, when we kind of first come into Web3, is that we don't really know where to go. And I honestly didn't have anyone to handhold me. And I wish to be that kind of friend online that can help guide you where you want to go. So I have a Discord community where we game, we educate, we do AMAs with founders and builders. And we basically teach new users how to do things and to get them onboarded. And right now I just finished my TikTok stream, but I also am a full-time streamer, and I'm trying to onboard Web2 users into Web3 slowly and peacefully and friendly without pushing it too much. So that's my whole goal with this. I basically will be making storytelling videos to help educate people, less jargon, very wholesome, very good vibes, because I feel like a lot of time in Twitter, it's a lot of negativity. So I'm just here honestly having a good time and just trying to spread goodness, and I'll keep it short. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you, Pachara. Really appreciate you applying, and congrats again. Feel free again to drop some links here in the chat. I think our GLM voters will appreciate it, and we'll definitely show it in the recording that we're doing as well. So
I will do.
Yeah, cool, amazing. All right, anyone else?
Yeah, I can go. Whatever works best for you. If you have nowhere to be, because I have something afterwards, so I have to be.
Yeah, me too, but you can go. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Aram. I here represent Oak Research. We are a research outlet, so we publish lots of content about what's happening on the blockchain. We are looking at data. We are providing analytics. We are providing some alpha to the people that follow us. We also have both channels. So we have a French audience, and then we have an English-speaking audience. Most of us are based in France. We also work with some people around the world. So we work with people in Canada, in Hong Kong, and in Nigeria as well, who are our analysts. So when we applied to this Epoch for Octant, we basically had a dual mandate, if we can call it so. On on the one hand, we wanted to do justice to what happened on Ethereum a while back. So for those who are not familiar with the marketing history of Ethereum, I think it was almost a year and a half ago, a new initiative popped up, which was called 2077 Collective. The goal for it was to become the marketing layer for Ethereum. And at the end of the day, at some point, they just stopped posting. The website went offline. And basically, lots of people who contributed to this initiative didn't get paid. Some people reached out to us because when they found our content, they kind of aligned with our vision of the market and they wanted to work with us. And so we started working with two of them. But then I think it was a month ago, I posted a tweet talking about it, just wondering if there were any funds left or anything to salvage from this initiative to deploy it somewhere else or to give it to a DAO. And I even suggested giving it to Octant or to Golden Foundation to stake it and forget about it, because the thing is, the project actually got a grant from Vitalik, who sent over 100 ETH to them. And then they also had a bunch of supporters from Polygon and from all around the ecosystem, Eigenlayer as well. And so lots of people reached out to me and told me that, well, nothing is left in the treasury. The founder left and nobody knows where the money went. And so I reached out to Marshall and James at Octant because we worked with Octant before. We participated in one of the marketing rounds before where we covered Octant, the various epochs, and then the Ethereum itself. And then I told them about the idea that I had, and Marshall told me, hey, check out our latest funding round. And so I was like, okay. When I saw the Epoch 9, it was about Ethereum stories, about Ethereum coverage, about everything that we can bring to Ethereum. It kind of popped in my head that we could make this right by the people who were affected by the downfall of 2077. And so when we submitted our application, there were two things to put in. There was the minimum amount and the maximum amount. And the minimal amount, we set it at the money that the people from 2077 are owed, meaning that whatever we get, even if we get a small grant, it will 100% be distributed to the people that were affected by the whole thing. If we get a larger grant, the goal for us is to continue cover the coverage of the Ethereum ecosystem. I get that lots of people here in this epoch are mainly targeting retail investors and going a little bit outside of the crypto ecosystem, which is completely fair and which makes sense. But on the other hand, Ethereum has to remain attractive to the crypto community, to the crypto people. And we have seen during the bear market the coverage that Ethereum has got and how it was treated by lots of people. It was basically like a dead chain. It's over for Ethereum. It will never come back. And even now, as we crossed the ETH of Ethereum just for a few days, and now we are back to 4K, lots of people are pronouncing Ethereum dead once again. The goal for us is to look at the Ethereum ecosystem, look at the data, look at what's actually happening on chain, and provide a comprehensive analysis by working with our data partners. So we are working today with Token Terminal, with C-Launch, with StableWatch. We also work with a bunch of protocols from the Ethereum ecosystem, such as Ethena or Maple or some other ones as well. And so the goal for us here is to use these funds to fund contributors to write more analysis about Ethereum. For example, the analysis of the various EIPs and what it actually means for Ethereum, instead of having a bunch of words that only the core devs of ETH can understand. We want to provide a more comprehensive analysis of what it actually means for the network, for the ecosystem, and for the long-term role that Ethereum has to play in the current world. And then we also want to be able to produce reports such as, for example, quarterly reports for Ethereum. So looking at data, looking at what happened, looking at the technological advancement, looking at the projects that deployed on Ethereum, looking at the flows, looking at stable coins, looking at institutions. The goal for us is to basically serve, let's say, a marketing layer, but for the crypto ecosystem, for Ethereum as well. And basically, the funds that we are looking to get will only be used for the creation of the content, and that will go to independent contributors that we work with, who are familiar with the Ethereum ecosystem, who have huge experience in covering Ethereum in general, and basically allowing us to get a larger sum. It means that we would be able to continue this coverage for a longer period of time. So I think that's pretty much it. For some reason, I'm the one getting tagged on Twitter, but I will send our Twitter account here in the chat so you can follow what we do. We cover lots of ecosystem, lots of projects. So we're basically looking at the trends, at where everything is going. Yeah, I'm just sending the link. So if you want to check out what we do, you can check the latest content. For those who want to go even further, I can send you the website that we have been working on for the past year. We actually launched a year ago, and we will be releasing the V2 of the website this Monday, actually. So this is a little alpha. But all of the research that we publish on the website will always remain free because our goal is to make the knowledge accessible to anyone who is looking to go a little bit further and dig a little bit deeper and basically become one of the, let's not say rivals, but valuable competitors to the giants such as Misari or Blockworks or Delphi. We are a small team, but we are working hard on getting there and working with more projects and getting support from Octant for the second time. It means a lot to us because thanks to the first support, we actually could fund the development of the platform because the devs are expensive. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you have any questions or if you want to either work with us, interact with us, organize a space or whatever, you can just reach out through Telegram. You can tag me. My name is Arem, pretty much the same as here. And we can work on some stuff on which we could work together.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Adam. And yeah, very noble cause that you have with the collective that went down. It was super unfortunate, and maybe actually like a collaboration opportunity with Zach XBT to find the lost funds, actually, because I'm pretty sure everyone in the community is keen to understand what happened there. But yeah, appreciate all the work you're doing with Oak and these novel cause that you are planning to execute for the Epoch 9 demand.
Thank you very much. And I think the problem is with Zach is that he's more focused on some thefts and hacks and scams. And we have actually interacted in the past already. I sent him over also some stuff because I was working on an investigation and he helped me out. Yeah, so basically we already interacted, but I don't think it's worth bothering him with this because most of the because I tried to retrace some of the funds and where they went, and basically it was just an overspending on the founder's side. It was basically distributing money everywhere without staking ETH or thinking about longer term values that they were trying to promote or trying to make a sustainable business. So I think it was one of the main problems with 2077. It's the fact that either they didn't have the experience or they were really serious about it, running it on a longer time frame. So we launched Oak Research 1 year ago. We are already sustainable without raising any funds. So we are conscious about our spending. We know where the money would go. We already know the people that we would allocate it to make the best content out there. So I guess that's the difference that we have. Yeah, it was a good suggestion with Zach, but I think he's more focused on catching criminals right now. So he's doing a lot for this.
Fair enough. Yeah, those are all great insights. Thanks for sharing. I think next we had Evie. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to say that because actually it's Evie. So with Adam, really, really nice to hear your project. And actually it's a really nice bridge also into what I wanted to explain, but just wanted to recognize that it's really, really great what you're building. And also interesting to hear that you're like doing stuff in the EIP space. And at the same time, I'm reading in the chat that Ipana is also, or used to be, covering content in terms of EIP. So I would say let's boost this back to life again because it's a really interesting topic. And it's actually exactly what we're going to be focusing on with my project. So yeah, if you go to my Twitter, you can see that I'm an institutional maxi, which means I love any type of like blockchain tech that can be used in banks or asset managers or you name it. Oh wait, can you guys still hear me? I just got a notification that there's a problem with my microphone.
We can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I gotta be honest with you, this is the first time I'm doing something like this on Discord. Like, I'm not really a Discord person. Love the background music, by the way. Um,
Cheers. I
so yeah,
appreciate you doing.
thank you. This earlier today, I was on a Twitter Spaces with the RWA Foundation. But being like mostly focused on the institutional side of crypto, I'm actually very active on LinkedIn, which is pretty lame, but that's where the TradFi folks are at. Yeah. Anyway, going back to the project, we basically want to explain ERC 3643, ERC 4626, ERC 721, and ERC 7943 in plain English, so for like tailored for a TradFi audience, because I mean it's all over the news like every day. Like there's a new bank or a new asset manager that's implementing their tech to go on chain, and it has a great potential to improve the financial infrastructure altogether. But like even for me, like being in this space for I don't know almost 4 years, I have to learn something new like every day, because then I think we can all recognize that, right? Like there's a bunch of new technologies, there's a whole culture within Web3. We have our own little language. And, if you're like outside of that and you come from like a traditional finance background where everything has been the way things are for 10 years, 20 years, and now here we are, like a bunch of like Web3 nerds, and we come at you with all this weird terminology, it's just not really going to work. We need to have a better communication bridge. And that's what I will try to build with my partner, Ray, in our report. So we want to explain why would you even use a token standard? Why is it necessary? And how do these work? And what standard will be the best to implement for your financial institution's project? And so that's going to be the goal, basically. Like we want to bring financial institutions on chain by educating them in their own language. And if we get more funding, we will tap into more graphic design. We will tap into webinar series. We will do a PR campaign, like all just basically making sure that we're getting as much TradFi folks to see this and to understand it and to actually start using Ethereum. And I'm actually really excited about that. So thank you all for being here. And also lastly, shout out to Panchira and Louis that I heard earlier on here, because personally, I've never been a full-time content creator, and I just respect you guys a lot for doing that, because it's a big risk. It's very unpredictable, and great job for all of you that are fighting to do this lifestyle and making it work. So respect for all of you guys. And who's next?
Thank you so much for sharing, AB. And I mean, yeah, LinkedIn is kind of frowned upon, but to be honest, I've also even considered being more active there, because we need to start expanding beyond our crypto Twitter bubble. So I appreciate the work you're doing there for sure.
Oh, but I mean, yes, LinkedIn can be very cringe. That is just the truth, unfortunately. But if we want to bring normies on board, we need to find them where they are, and they are on LinkedIn, some of them. So let's create like a crypto LinkedIn and make it fun.
I'm down, actually. That would be super cool. I would be down to be part of crypto LinkedIn.
Let's make it. Let's just build it. Thank you, Nico.
Let's do it. Thank you, Evie. Appreciate you. And feel free to share some links here in the chat again. Just a reminder. All right, who's next? We only have 15 more minutes. I need to jump, so let's make sure to give everyone we can an opportunity. Otherwise, we also have another one next week, another town hall. So some people cannot make it.
Nico, I came in late. I can go really fast because it's pretty simple what I'm doing.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. My name's Brooke Lacey. Some of you I know, some of you I just met and love that. So I have been doing crypto content on TikTok for a really long time, back when I was just trying to explain blockchain to people in order to encourage them to invest in companies that are investing in blockchain technology as their infrastructure. And this was back in 2021. And most of my audience just thought I was saying Bitcoin and where do we buy this blockchain? So, it was early, and I just never thought within the next 3-4 years that it would become such a commonplace to be able to speak about and for people to be interested in. So to the world with humor, and a lot of my TikTok following did so because I have a lot of funny content, kind of silly. I am Gen X, so I have a lot of like early boomer, late millennial, and definitely a lot of Gen X women audience. And so I've been able to kind of reel them in with comedy and humor and making them feel good, and then hitting them with the educational piece of it. So I look at it as edutainment, and being able to like entertain people and educate them is a missing art form. So this project, I have resurrected something called Amongst a Potted Plant. And if any of you have ever seen Between Two Ferns with Zach Galifianakis, it is in that style. I do have a proof of concept from 3 years ago. I did this with Charles Hoskinson, and it was a hit. It just kind of wasn't, we weren't able to fund it. And, you know, I kind of just like forgot about it kind of, and just always thought like maybe one day I'll just produce it myself. So when this came about, I was like, oh, how great would it be to have this show that really humanizes the, you know, technical and cultural leaders of Ethereum, and especially Vitalik. And so I don't have set agreements from them yet, but I do feel like this is the kind of thing that a lot of these leaders are going to want to do, especially since I'm able to show like, you know, how Charles reacted to it and how much he loved it. So it's really just a matter of like getting to the locations, mostly at conferences where they're all going to be at, and sit down, you know, in a portable studio, essentially in an Airbnb or wherever we can find a good studio, and get a different potted plant every time. Either I hold it. I am going to be putting out a lot of content about the one with Charles so that people can see what this is. And I think you'll all find it very funny because I laugh at it every single time. And if I don't laugh at it, it's not funny. So you have to be able to laugh at your own content, or else like nobody else will. So it's very different from anything anyone has ever done. A comedy show essentially for leadership. You know, we want to like get these people, a little bit of awkward humor is kind of the best, and just put them in a different light, because I think the problem is, and I put this in my description, is that, you know, a lot of Ethereum and a lot of these different concepts, you know, live in white papers and very technical talks and an echo chamber. We keep talking about that. And when we put it into a new light and let people feel something like laughing and like humor, they're going to remember things just like I did on TikTok. So I'm just repeating what I've been successful at in multiple different arenas, in the sense of getting new people to listen and watch. And my hope is that this becomes the cultural sort of tipping point or standing point for Ethereum going forward. So I hope that, and even if it's just different Ethereum like influencers that I interview in this type of style, it's still going to be really funny. So glad to be here.
Cool, awesome. No, thank you, Brooke, for applying and for making it. Congratulations. And yeah, TikTok, another very sort of neglected network and crypto Twitter that needs definitely more visibility, and your community seems also like super fun. So really excited to see what how the project evolves. Feel free to share some links already here for our community to. I know they will appreciate it, and also help them make already start making their minds on who to vote when the allocation window starts. So yeah, appreciate you. Anyone else who wants to share?
Wait,
Just,
so share it in the chat here in the town hall,
yeah,
or oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah, it's also in that announcement one as well. But yeah,
Nice.
everything's in this little spot. But I'm definitely going to go hard on Twitter. It's definitely not anything anyone's ever seen me do before. So it's like, I hope the algorithm is nice to us, that like all of a sudden we all start posting different things. And I want it to get to the right people. So that's going to be a trick, because I don't have a massive following on Twitter. You know, that I think that's something that we're a little nervous about. Like Evan and I met yesterday, is like so much of our, you know, kind of rabid audience is on TikTok. So we're trying to figure out like what's the best way to kind of either move them over, or, you know, get the right the right traction here, but I think it's just going hard on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, but I would suggest just stick to where your audiences are at, and we're gonna try to like amplify that also on Twitter, or find a way to amplify that, because there's no need to, like, the goal is actually to expand beyond our crypto Twitter bubbles.
Right. And I was going to say too,
just
like, if
staying there.
anybody wants to do like a live stream, I know Evan and the Rise Up guys, I'm going to be doing their show quite a bit, but like I have this way to be able to live stream to everywhere, even TikTok, which not everybody has that ability through like a restream, meaning to go to all the different places at once, which I think is really powerful. Sometimes you have to do it like TikTok makes you do it on its own, and then all the rest of them. So if anybody's interested in just coming on and chatting about how this all works, like I'm down for that. I'm full time doing this the next month. So
Yeah, no, looking forward to it, and thank you for coming by and sharing it with the community here. All right, I think we might have time for one or two more folks to share. Who wants to go next?
Oh wait, I did see the Octant post just now on LinkedIn. I was like, why haven't we posted there? Okay, done.
So there is one.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. See, that's how active I am on LinkedIn. I didn't even know we had posted about it, but I'm gonna stick to my word and be more active there. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing that. Do you want to share about your project?
I was gonna present next week. My brain is fried.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure, no problem.
Yeah,
Anyone else who wants to?
Put my link in the chat.
Yeah, cool.
I don't know if my audio is fine. Alicia.
You're a little low.
Yeah, you're low. A little, but I think you should pump it more if you can.
Okay, this is kind of the loudest it goes. I hope this is okay.
Yeah, let me pause the music. Maybe that will.
I was going to say maybe turn the music off.
Yeah, 1 second.
Y'all could also turn up the volume on Alicia. Like you just click on her or their profile.
Okay, input volume
That's fair.
is it better?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, great. Thanks. Hi, I'm Alicia. My project for the submission is Crypto Native, which is a podcast that I started in 2021 when I came into the Ethereum space, and it was kind of life-changing for me in a lot of ways. But it was actually my project that I started as part of Kernel, which is a learning community that is kernel.community, which has participated in past Octant rounds actually, which spun out of Gitcoin, and it was like a very wonderful and supportive environment to on board to Ethereum with. And I spoke to lots of people. Also at the time, I was kind of sitting in a room in Auckland, New Zealand, wondering how to participate. And I think this is like one of the best things about crypto, that you can quite literally be in a corner of the world and connect with people. So I was doing Crypto Native and it was great. And then I joined ENS, the Ethereum name service, and things just got a little bit busy. And because it was a video podcast, and I say like I'm terrible at using makeup, and so I couldn't hide the bags under my eyes. The fact that I wasn't sleeping because I was kind of working around the clock, and so I stopped video podcasting. But basically since then I have gone on to work with and a bunch of different Ethereum projects, I guess like Optimism, CK Sync, Abstract, kind of projects that I'm actively involved in at the moment. And I'm also the co-founder of an open source hardware wallet called Firefly with Rick Moo, who's the founder of Ethers.js, and Ethers has also been in past Octant rounds. And I guess from my experience in the last couple of years, the thing that I never really see in terms of the content that I consume, especially on crypto Twitter, is I guess, you see like those kind of same 24 founders who do the circuits on the really popular platforms and things like that. And I guess I was hoping to communicate the stories and share more of the people who are maybe also founders but not VC backed, maybe building public goods, and it doesn't come with like a VC driven media arm, and just kind of trying to create space for conversations that maybe don't always get a spotlight. But I think that actually the strength of Ethereum is in its depth in terms of the people. So I don't know if I can use just like a sporting analogy. I would say Ethereum's got a pretty deep bench, which means that throughout a lot of companies, from the founder, but also, right through engineering, marketing, community, BD, all of these other things, there are lots of people who are doing great work. And my hope is that by sharing these stories, people who maybe are newly onboarded through a lot of these other projects that are focusing really on onboarding people from like completely outside of crypto, that people get an idea of, who you would really be kind of shoulder to shoulder with. And yeah, and then just giving these projects and people some space that that maybe they're not always given, because it's kind of hard to compete with deep pockets of kind of traditional media. That's it. That's my spiel.
Oh, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Alicia. Yeah, amazing content that you've been creating as well. I didn't know you were working on Firefly as well. Super cool project. So yeah, exciting to have you in the Epoch as well, and thank you for sharing with the community here. We thank you. We are almost at the top of the hour, but I will invite everybody to come next week and share about your projects. Let's give priority to those who didn't make it today, like Natalie and Violin from ETH Panda. I see Jay from Tickeris ETH as well here, I think. So yeah, just come next week and we'll give you the first spots. And yeah, appreciate everybody for coming by and sharing your stories, sharing your projects. I'm sure the GLM holder community is going to appreciate it and write you down as the people active here. So thank you so much. See you either on Tuesday for our Dragon's Den. That's a fun trivia we organize. You should come check it out. You can win some GLM tokens. And if not, next week at the same time for Thursday town hall here at the Octant Discord. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of the week and see you soon. Bye-bye.